This week on Steel Horse Thunder, we go to a ride for females by females.
Southern Indiana is the only place to ride.
Just being on the ride, out with the wind and the bike, I love that.
You don't care about where you guys eat or where you guys are going to go shopping or any of that stuff. You just want to go ride, huh?
Ride.
And we check in on a group of people about to leave on the biggest motorcycle ride you've never heard of.
Every year in May, we lobby our government against their handling of the POW-MI issue.
In the history of the world, I'm the grand total of the only one who has ever won both of those.
This November 28th will be 43 years he's been missing.
It's week one of the riding season here on Steel Horse Thunder.
Maybe tag along for a while and then split off on my own, go home. I gotta go to work.
That is weird. Hey, we're here at Cycle Outfitters. It's International Female Ride Day. They're doing a workshop and learning some general maintenance on the motorcycles. When we get done here, we're gonna head down south for a nice ride. And later on tonight, we're gonna end up with the bike night up at Gallagher's too. So let's go talk to some people. Let's go see what's going on. Heading down south, there's gonna be some nice roads down there to ride. Are you looking forward to those kind of roads?
Oh, absolutely. Southern Indiana is the only place to ride. There's no reason to go north.
Well, I agree with you on that one. Heidi, I know you're the organizer of the International Female Ride Day. Can you explain to us a little bit about what's going on today?
Actually, the International Female Ride Day was an event that was started about 7 years ago from a gal who's in Canada. She runs Motorist Magazine, and it's always held on the first Friday of May. And so I brought it to Indy last year and had an event, and this will be our second year here having it.
All right, I see something here that I desperately need. I'm on my feet all the time. Tell me, what's your product here?
These are Air Feet insoles. We advertise them as it's the best weird you'll ever feel. Not only that, it'll lighten your load, keep your impact off your skeletal system, and it's just going to put a smile on your face because you can rock back and forth all day and get a massage.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready to try this. These feel pretty weird. Just putting them on right now, it feels pretty wild. I mean, I can actually feel it just sitting down.
It's immediate.
That is weird. You're right. It is the best weirdness you can feel with your clothes on.
It's my second year riding, so my husband and I thought it'd be nice to come out and do the girls' ride. We've seen it at the motorcycle exhibit, but Sport and Travel, we've seen it down there. Knew about it then, so I thought it'd be fun to come out and try today, or to ride today.
What I'm talking about, index marks, it's these lines across the top here. Everybody see where those are at?
Yeah.
And you're going to have that on both sides of your axle, okay? So if you ever change the tire yourself, or in the particular case here, if you're adjusting your chain, what you want to make sure is that when you go ahead and you tighten everything back up, that axle is perpendicular and it's pointing the right direction versus skewed off to one side or the others. Hate to tell you how many times I ride down the road and I see bikes around me and in front of me, and you can actually see the tire is cocked off at an angle where somebody hasn't aligned things up in the index marks.
So now you came all the way up from Bloomington, right?
Yeah, I actually travel between Bloomington and Noblesville a lot, so coming to the south side really wasn't that big of a problem.
Okay. All right, so what are you looking forward to on this ride?
Well, just driving around Bloomington is really pretty and great for motorcycles, so any ride around Bloomington I really enjoy a lot.
All right. Well, I tell you what, you got a beautiful bike here. The roads down there are really good for these kind of bikes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, battery tender. Okay, here you can see the lead. I'm sorry, I didn't see it before. So you can see this lead on here. So there's a couple of manufacturers. Battery tender makes when I have a battery tender connection on this bike. There's also a newer one that's come out on the market. It's called C-Tech. Cycle Outfitter sells both of them. And C-Tech's a little bit newer technology. What it does that's different basically with battery tender, this gives it a trickle charge throughout the winter time or when you're not riding your motorcycle as frequent as we'd all like to. Because hey, this is Indiana and sometimes it rains, right? But what it allows it to do is keep that battery charge up for you. The C-Tech is a little bit different. What it does is it'll sometimes, while it's on that charger, it'll basically take your battery completely down and then charge it back up. Almost like you do with your cell phone or your camera batteries every now and then. They suggest doing that.
Just being on the ride, out with the wind and the bike, I love that. I could just be on it all the time.
Kind of nice to have a lot of other ladies to go riding with today too, isn't it?
It is. I'm not prejudiced though. I'll ride with the guys, I'll ride with the girls, I'll ride by myself. I really don't mind.
I'm a member of IMG, and this was one of our feature rides.
And
I did it last year.
And IMG is?
Indy Motorcycle Group.
There you go. All right, so what are you looking forward to today?
Riding down south, with a bunch of people. Be fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just like to ride.
ride.
You don't care about where you guys eat or where you guys are going to go shopping or any of that stuff? You just want to go ride, huh?
Ride, yeah. I'm a chick, man.
I like it. Well, you're heading the right direction. You guys are heading south today, so it's a good direction to go to just go do some riding. All right, Louie, I'm going to ask you, what brings you out to this ride today?
Well, several reasons. One of them I'm not going to mention. But I always love to ride and I always like to meet people and ride with different kind of people. But I don't know if I have enough time to go with these guys today. I just want to see what's going on and maybe tag along for a while and then split off on my own, go home. I got to go to work.
So it's not because there's a bunch of women on bikes?
Well, I do like that too, of course.
We're going to go to Nashville, and that's shopping, and there's a nice leather shop, and that's what I'm hoping to find.
So you got a purpose for this one too.
Got a purpose, and it's not going to rain.
There you go. That's what we need, is the positive attitude. So what's going on at the bike night?
Oh, well, that's just going to be a time to kick back and relax and talk about the day's events and plan future rides.
Very good. And that's what I was going to ask you. Is this something that's going to continue here in Indy?
I certainly hope so. That's the plan.
I like to see some of the guys coming out and supporting this ride. I think it's really good to see all these women getting on the bikes and riding. I mean, obviously they're just as capable as a man to ride a motorcycle.
Oh, I'm telling you, I have met some in the past. They can even run circles around me.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a bad rider, but my gosh.
All right, the bikes are fired up, getting ready to take off. Going on the ride down south now. So we're going to call it a wrap here at Cycle Outfitters on International Female Ride Day. Hey, we're bringing back Safety Tips 101 again this year because it's the most important thing you can possibly learn on a motorcycle. Now our good friend Jim Yaney, he is retired and he's moved out west. Who knows, maybe he's a rodeo clown now, enjoying life. So I asked my good friend Eric Anderson from Southside Harley-Davidson to come in and help us out with the Safety Tips 101.
Welcome to Safety 101. I'm Eric Anderson, motorcycle safety rider coach for ABATE of Indiana. Today's safety class is on avoiding an obstacle. If you look at the range that we have set up here, we have a barrier set up where you have a lane to the left, a lane to the right, and a decision to make a quick stop. We have Q cones where we'll make the change left, right, or decide to do a quick stop without hitting the barrier. The object of this is to be able to take your motorcycle, keeping your body upright, taking the motorcycle, letting it move underneath your body, left or right, while keeping your body straight, keeping your head and eyes straight forward, looking where you want to go, and have the motorcycle end up there.
Here with Betty Marchand. Now, Betty, I'm assuming this is your husband's bike now. I take it you ride on the back?
No, this is my bike. No husband.
All right. Just had to mess with you just a little bit. So how long have you been riding?
About a year.
Okay, and so is this your first bike then, I assume?
This is my second bike.
Second bike?
Mm-hmm. My first bike I wrecked.
Okay. Now, did you go through any safety classes or anything like that?
ABATE.
Now that you're riding and everything else, what are your future plans on your bike?
Ride as much as I can, as long as I can, till I can't ride anymore.
You are so hardcore. I love it.
Hardcore. I am.
So do you have any plans for any big rides this year? Or?
We're talking about riding down to down the Natchez Trace Parkway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. We're talking about doing that. I wouldn't mind riding out west, but I don't like riding in the rain. I'm not that hardcore, so.
You will be soon. Don't worry about that. It only takes a couple times in the rain, and after that, it's just like, you know, it's like anything else. Once you've done it, and it's no big deal.
I'm sure.
All right, well, I appreciate you taking time out to talk with us, and I just wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Hey, we're up here on the north side of Indianapolis. We met up with the Rolling Thunder, Chapter 1 here in Indiana, and they're getting ready to take a big ride. They're going down to Washington, D.C. They're going to take a ride out to the wall, but, you know, there's about 70 bikes leaving here, But when they get down to Washington, D.C., they're going to be joining up with about 800,000 motorcycles. It's the largest motorcycle event taking place in this country, and somehow or another, it seems to fly under the radar every year. So let's go talk to some people and find out exactly what's going on. Scooby, can you tell me exactly what you guys are getting ready to do?
Every year in May, we lobby our government against their handling of the POW MIA issue and the rights of all veterans. We, as POW MIA advocates, want accountability to bring all of our POWs and MIAs home. And currently there's 51 still missing from the Vietnam War, and we lobby our government, we educate the public to hopefully bring them back to American soil where they belong.
All right, guys, I know you're getting ready to take this long trip. You guys are set up pretty good right here. How many times have you done this?
This is my 4th time to go to the wall. It's very worthwhile. A lot of closure for Vietnam veterans. They really need to go.
So you recommend this to anybody then?
Yes, especially Vietnam veterans. It gives you some closure. Lets you get rid of a lot of those feelings that we had back in the 60s and 70s.
Well, I'm looking for just get away from the house. No, just kidding. I'm just my first time, and I believe in the cause of the POWs, MIAs, the thousands that are still missing.
Now, I understand this is pretty special to you. Could you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely is. My big brother, Ronald Eugene Smith, was a Green Beret. He was in a special ops group in Vietnam. He was lost behind enemy lines somewhere in Cambodia, in the tri-border area there by Laos and Cambodia. This November 28th will be 43 years he's been missing. The government changed his status at one point to killed in action, body not recover, but I still have in writing 5 different versions of what happened to him. So yes, this is extremely special. Back when this happened, it didn't seem to be that no one cared, and this chapter, these people, Rolling Thunder, that I've got to know are my family now. I went to the wall with them for the first time, and there's nothing like somebody caring for all the hell that we've been through with this. I love them.
You know, for some of the younger viewers of the show, may not remember Vietnam and all that stuff. So, Larry, can you explain to our audience what it was like when you came back from Vietnam?
When we came back from Vietnam, a lot of us had our uniforms on. If you had your uniforms on, they'd come up to you and spit on you, call you baby killers, just cuss at you or whatever. So it came to the point where many of the soldiers, as soon as they got in stage, took their uniforms off so that nobody would know that they were in the service, because, you know, it's such an unpopular war that, you know, we were only doing what our country asked us to do, and we did it. And so in my eyes, we're all heroes. If you were in the Vietnam War and you participated, you're a hero, no matter what anybody else says.
But I think with the efforts of Rolling Thunder and other organizations, we are really starting to bring to light what took place back then and making sure it doesn't happen in our future.
That's exactly the way I feel. Thank heavens. We've had a son since in the last 3 years. It's been a year in Afghanistan, and it's a whole different mindset. I mean, I thought I was going to lose my mind that year, scared to death, because in my head, when they go away, they don't come back. But he got back safe, and with, you know, people shaking his hand and hugging him instead of what they did to our Vietnam veterans.
Now, can you explain to me, I know you got some symbols up here on your vest. Could you explain to me what those are?
Well, the 2 probably most unique ones are the Naval Flight Officer wings and the Coast Guard coxswain pin. The Naval Flight Officer wings are gold and the coxswain pin is silver. And what that means is that I flew as a Naval Flight Officer in A-1 Sky Raiders in Vietnam. And the coxswain pin means I drove boats for the Coast Guard. In the history of the world, I'm the grand total of the only one who has ever won both of those.
My goodness, I'll tell you what, you know, you're a real American hero. I mean, it's really cool to be able to meet, you know, people like you that have done so much. And as serious as all that is, I know there's also another thing being distributed here at this ride right now, and I believe it's called the FNG pin or something like that. Can you explain to us what that is?
The FNG button, that's for the new guys, and the F stands for fairly new guy, I think, or Finally, well, anyway, it stands for something.
We went to Washington for a very short trip once. We wanted to go back. We stopped at the Vietnam Memorial once for just a short time. And I have some actually members of my family and friends whose names are on the wall, so I'd like to pay a little bit of tribute to them.
Now, how many are going on this trip today?
We're approximately about 70, 75 bikes, and when we get to DC, we'll pick up riders along the way, on the highway, and we'll, when we get to the Pentagon, we should have about 800,000 motorcycles, as well as close to 1 million people and onlookers for our demonstration.
I understand this is your first trip out. What made you decide to do this?
Well, a good friend of mine, Randy Cope, who's a member of the Rolling Thunder here in Indianapolis, invited me to come along. I've been trying to do it for a couple years, and here I am. So real glad to be here. Like being around all these veterans, and it's a good cause. Real good thing to go.
Well, yeah, we've got to know a few of these people already this morning. A really good bunch of guys. They're doing everything they can to talk us into coming with them next year, and I think we just may have to do that. It looks like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, a couple times a year would be great.
You know, I noticed the rig you guys got here, and this is a family atmosphere. I was told that when people act up, that's where they have to ride. Is that true?
That's true. That's true. That's the sail room all the way to Washington, D.C.
Have you been on this ride before?
My first year. Pretty excited. First time for my wife also.
Your other, not this wife, your other wife.
Other wife, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I told you, this is a close family around here. I mean, this is a pretty tight unit right here. Linda, can you tell me what the roll call is all about today?
Yes, there's still 51 soldiers missing from Indiana, and our squad leaders and myself will stand up at the front, and each time their name is read, one of the squad leaders or sweep men will stand forward and say their piece for that soldier. Like he's still missing. We do this every year. Then we have a black balloon lift off for our POWs.
Francis Barnes Midnight.
Ralph Edward Moore.
Very somber moment here right now as they do the missing man roll call. 51 people still missing from Indiana, from Vietnam. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Steel Horse Thunder. I'd just like to say thank you to Steve Reeves for creating this show 12 years ago. Our thoughts and our prayers are with him and his family. We'll see you next week. Let's go see and talk to... I'm here with Heidi Pello. She's going to explain to us...
Slow down and enunciate for you.
Slow down, yeah, we'll just kind of slow her down just a little bit here.
3 years.
I'm sorry, I'm sitting down here with the microphone down here like, hey, what are you saying? I am with Scooby. We're going to... we're with the Chapter 1 of the Rolling Thunder... Chapter 1 of Indiana. And I can see why your spouse, why this is your number 2 spouse. We can't get him to stand still long enough. He's wandering away. You know, if you'd stick around more, you might become number 1 instead of number 2. Good morning. We're up here on the